located deep in the recesses of a game library that no one has kept up on. Hiding in the cracks of various collections lies a place that no gamer has ever escaped from, and indeed, some may have never even entered. A smell reminiscent of cashews, and a hum like fluorescent lights. This is the backlogs. Today's game comes from your backyard. Bug Fables is a game about bugs. Specifically, it takes place in the kingdom of Bugaria, a storied land with cultures and subcultures where all bugs live together in harmony. That is, until the Wasp Nation attacked. So how was it? Did I enjoy my stay in Bugaria? What relation does it have to Fable, if any? Let's dig into the meat of these bugs. Bug Fables follows the journeys and antics of V, the bee. This foul-mouthed gal got herself in hot water, and rather than face her mistakes head-on, she's decided to go on a grand adventure instead, in the great kingdom of Bugaria. Bugaria? Bugaria. Who cares? Bugaria is a sprawling kingdom that shares the backyard of a long-abandoned home with several other kingdoms that work together and clash horns like some sort of medieval version of A Bug's Life. In Bug Fables, there are 3 titular characters: V the bee, Kabu the beetle, and Leaf the moth. They all meet early on in the story and strive to be a great adventuring team for their kingdom, and each has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. V is an aggressive and shady bee. Kabu is knightly and honorable, the kind of guy who says we don't need a reward at the D&D table. And Leaf is the aloof warlock who doesn't seem to be all there. These 3 characters all have drastically different abilities that help them traverse the various regions and dungeons of the game and defeat their enemies in combat. All of which remains true to the heavily Paper Mario-inspired style that the game actually goes with. V will use her boomerang to do various tasks, like hit levers or carry items, and she can fly the group across small gaps. Kabu is able to run across the map at high speeds, breaking obstacles in his way or move objects around with his large horn. And Leaf is able to use his ice magic to create new paths and use his shields to protect friends in dangerous areas. Navigating the world feels like a puzzle at every turn. This reminds me more of Metroidvanias than your typical JRPG, or Paper Mario. In combat, these characters use their powers for beatdowns and fly swatting, each one filling a unique role. Leaf uses ice magic to freeze enemies and deals decent damage. Kabu knocks defensive enemies off their balance and absorbs more damage than the other 2 can, and V hits flyers out of the air and does a lot of consistent damage with multi-hit attack. Each character handles themselves pretty well. Though V is the least pronounced role in the entire team, she fills a damage slot, but she's also sort of a hybrid support, with abilities that heal allies and help out with different status effects. She really only gets a huge damage output increase with her badges, which are equipment you'll get periodically throughout the game. Admittedly, I didn't find a use for a large majority of the skills outside of specific niches, and near the end of the game, combat started to grow a bit stale. But it doesn't overstay its welcome. What does overstay its welcome, however, is the puzzles. Exploring the world of Bug Fables comes with a ton of puzzles. Puzzles range from easy to complex, some of them being unique and others being different takes on earlier puzzles in the game. These started to really get on my nerves. I know I'm playing this game and this game is all about puzzles, but some of these puzzles, man, yeesh. The puzzles aren't poorly designed. Some of them can be sort of cheesed with the resources given to you, and some of them require a lot of precision from Kabu's knockbacks, and that can be annoying to do. Some of them don't even really have a clear end goal until you're halfway through, but they're not really bad design. Most of the difficulty actually just came from figuring out where to go or dealing with aiming things, and the puzzle goals were usually decently intuitive. The problem is the amount of puzzles that there are, and the fact that many of them reset every time you leave the area. I get it, you're playing the Paper Mario RPG, they're the puzzle RPGs. That's perfectly reasonable. I do wish, however, that the fast travel system and the save system was a little more robust. That would alleviate most of my issues with the game, but overall, the impression the puzzles left on me was that they were very fun the first time through some of them, but by the end of the game, I just wanted to be done with them all. I don't mean to be a stick bug in the mud. Besides, the real winner of the game is the plot and lore. It's a more lighthearted JRPG than most of the ones I've played, and it only sprinkles in a little darkness or seriousness here or there. It was a really refreshing experience, especially having come off of Shin Megami Tensei 5, which hosts a much darker plot. Anyways, the plot centers around the Everlasting Sapling. It's in the name. Our crew is tasked by the Queen of Bulgaria to find the keys to the Everlasting Sapling and determine its true location. Along the way, we learn about various bug kingdoms and battle off lesser bugs who never gain sentience, as well as the wasps who use their sentience for pure evil. What I liked about the story was that it took a basic plot and it gave it a lot of room to grow. We deal with a lot of very normal problems from bug to bug. Kabu deals with survivors' guilt and trauma, Leaf unravels his past and learns to live in the world around him, and V has friendship troubles, and quite an attitude to work through. Compared to the grand scale of most JRPGs, even the Queen's problems with her kingdom seem almost real and relatable, and they play out side by side with the journey, which makes it nice. With every chapter cleared, we learn more about bug ambitions, goals, and dreams. It makes these characters feel relatable, each of them facing problems that can be understood even in day-to-day life, and their reactions to them are realistic and not always the prettiest. It does mean that the overall story of Bug Fables isn't all that deep, amounting mostly to a treasure hunt and a battle against primary antagonists, those being the wasps. That's not really a bad thing though. I found the game comfy. It didn't take much to start enjoying the world. And then there's the wasps. The wasps want the Everlasting Sapling for malicious intent, and they'll stop at nothing to get it, including invading other countries and theft. They make for a pretty flat antagonist in a game where telling a multi-layered story wasn't really the focus, but they have one of the best battle themes I've ever heard. Behind its basic story but realistic characters is a deep lore which you can gather and read by finding secrets, doing side quests, and completing other puzzles. They'll tell you how the world came to be and offer things to ponder about the way things are now and why they are that way. This is of course always welcome, but I unfortunately didn't find a lot of them. Bug Fables is an adorable experience. It's a fully realized game with enjoyable combat and a fun lightweight story that still leaves some room to tug on your heartstrings. Bug on your heartstrings? I'll see myself out. So the big question, did I finish it? Absolutely I did, and I loved every bit of my experience. Bug Fables wasn't the best JRPG I've played in recent time, but it did exceed my expectations. Not a lot of JRPGs managed to deliver a lightweight story, and despite how the story ended and the stakes being decently high, Bug Fables succeeded in not weighing me down with all the drama and angst of your standard JRPG. It didn't make me ask many questions, but it did make me fall in love with an adorable little bee, an overzealous beetle, and a mysterious moth fellow all the same. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think, and I hope all the bugs in this one don't make it unplayable for you.